Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. My name is Paolo DeBuca. I'm the director of music here. My pronouns are he and him, and it is wonderful to see you this morning. Who here had to set an alarm? Who here set 2? Choir was here at 8, so there was an alarm or 2. There was a snooze or 2 as well. Thank you for being here on this earlier than normal morning. Would you join me in shaking off the morning with a few breaths, and would you stand with me? Go ahead and stretch it out. And take a big breath with me. Breathe in the morning and exhale into the earth. Would you put a hand on your chest with me? Just remind yourself that you're here. This is you telling your body, welcome. The words of the opening hymn that we're about to sing together are, "How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful?" And the theme for this month, as you know, is truth. I got this wrong last time too. Truth, repair, and power. Thank you. I'll get it tattooed into my arm. And part of that, I think, is the truth that we are all beautiful. So as we prepare to sing this song, would you train your mind's eye on somebody who you might want to send a reminder and tell them, how could anyone ever tell you that you were anything less than beautiful? Join me again. This note works too. Oh, sing into your hand, folks. Let's make some music. Oh, how could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Good morning. morning, beautiful people. Welcome to First Universalist. My name is Laura Smidzik. I use she, her pronouns, and it's my joy to serve as an assistant minister here. It's also my privilege to share worship this morning with Reverend Ashley, with Paulo, with our worship associate, Sherry Merriam, and two beloved congregants, Keith Washington and Martha Bird. Rev Jen is in the back hosting those who are online this morning. If you're wondering, she's not just catching up on emails. Gratitude to John and Olu and to all the artists and ushers who make this space beautiful, including Nikki, who brought us the flowers, and Betty, who set up all the candles for the ritual today. And to all of you who make this time of connection and inspiration possible. Thank you for being here this morning, for being a visible part of the community that comes together on Sunday morning and throughout the week as we deepen our understanding of ourselves, each other, the community, and we listen to our hearts and spirits and act from that calling. Ideally, it is through this authentic relationship with with ourselves and others, that we continue to take risk on connections and community and on the power of love whenever we show up. Welcome to this community that we create together. If you are new, we're so glad you're here. There's a welcome table that will be right in front of the doors if you walk into the social hall. So just know somebody will be sitting there with a sign, and you can sit with them and learn more about the congregation. We also have a community dinner this Wednesday for all of you who are new and have returned. So that's a lovely way to have an opportunity to meet folks in a more casual environment. We do ask that you RSVP, and there's a link on our website. And if you've been here a lot of times, we're so glad to see you. It's really a joy. I was sitting up here with with the congregants this morning, and they're like, wow, you can really see people up here. So just know you are really seen when you are out there. Welcome to this place where we lean into universalist understanding of a faith that names each and every one of us as beings, as whole and holy and worthy and welcome and wanted, always with room for growth. Welcome to a community of love and hope, committed to practicing beloved community, grounded in a love so inclusive and expansive and irresistible that it cannot help but transform us, individually and collectively, creating a world here and now of mutual living for all of us. This morning, we continue with March's worship theme of truth, power, and repair, and spiritual practices that help sustain our resilience. Today is Mental Health Sunday. It's an annual ritual where we come together to name the truths of our lives and our relationship to mental health. If you're joining us online, please feel free to step away at some point and get a candle and a match or something so that you can be part of the ritual later in this service. Last week, Reverend Jen introduced a spiritual practice of healing in the midst of challenge. She talked about going out in nature, not waiting for perfect conditions, whether that be weather or the world at large. One of the key obstacles to mental wellness is isolation. Intentionally being around others and out in the world beyond where we live reminds us of being human. A practice of going to a regular group or activity, or just getting together with someone you love or know, or sitting in a cafe or at a park and just listening to the world around you, is a way of pulling your spirit out into the world and reminding us that we are connected. So as you greet each other this morning, make it your mission to make sure that everybody is talking to someone, and ask each other if there's a way that you intentionally try to connect with others this week, and if it helped with repair, restoration, or healing. And please share your name or your pronouns before you share. Let's go.
How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
From this space of connection and song, we remember the hopes and promises that keep us together. And we say, love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. It's weird how stories can stay with you throughout a lifetime, or songs. They just seem to come in randomly at times. I can't remember when I first heard the ILAC story, but it has stuck with me for my whole adult life. ILAC, there you go, everybody, stands for I am loving and capable. Every morning we wake up and there's an invisible sign on our heart that says, I am loving and capable. And on good days, that sign stays intact. We know we are loved and loving. We feel capable and able to help and care for others and ourselves. But other days, particularly in times like this in our cities where neighbors and friends have been threatened by so many ICE agents, it's hard to move through the day so easily. So maybe you wake up feeling good and you're getting ready to go to school if you're a kid in the sanctuary. And you overhear an adult in your life talking about someone being taken by ICE. And without even knowing it, a little piece of your ILAC sign is torn. Because you know you're loved, but are you able to do anything to help a person who was taken? And then you go to school. Some of your friends are still not back in the classroom and are joining you online, so you're sad. Because that means you can't play with them or eat lunch with them. And another piece of your sign is torn because you can't be with the people you love. And then you get back home and your caregiver or your parent snaps at you. I don't know if you guys find that's happening much when you take too long to do something. And a piece of your sign is torn because even though you know how much you're loved, it hurts to be yelled at. This goes on until you go to bed. Good things happen, and some sad things happen, and more pieces fall off. Well, when you wake up the next morning, the story goes, you have your ILAC sign reminding you that you are loving and capable. A lot of the sign came back overnight when you were resting, but a bit of it's already torn off from yesterday. You start the day feeling a little less loving and loved, a little less capable and able to be kind and helpful in other people's lives. When I think of the last few months, I think all of us have been struggling with good and hard things happening in the cities. The people where we live have fought back with love and courage and care that has been amazing to see. And there's also been a lot of fear and sadness and anger. A lot of us waking up less capable of being the people we want to be for ourselves and others. So this is what I want to remind the kids and youth of, and maybe even the adults in the room. Let adults or others in your lives know how you are doing. The adults in your life love you. And they want you to know that if you can put words to your feelings or even just say, I don't feel good, then together we can hold one another and find ways to help one another. You are all so loving and capable, and we are grateful to be able to love and care for you even in hard times, because you bring a light into our lives and the lives of so many others. So for the adults in the room, before we send the kids off, we are so close to crossing the finish line. You'll hear that again when Ashley talks today, but we are so close to finishing the finish line with getting religious education volunteers. We need just a few more people to fill 7 slots, about 2 hours, some at 9 a.m. and some at 11. So if you can help, it goes till the end of the church year, till I think the end of May. Please talk to me or Harut, who will be down at the front desk. Seriously, these loved ones, these little ones in our lives deserve our care and just a little bit of our time. So now it is time to send the kids off, the kids and the youth off to their rooms to go spend time with other adults in this community. Today, the coming of age class left mid 9 o'clock service. We have, I think, 23 kids matched with 23 mentors who are meeting throughout this service as well. We send the light from our shared chalice, that is so hard to say, I messed it up at 9 o'clock as well, out with them. And kids and youth, will you please follow the flags and the light? We'll sing.
Good morning, beloveds. My name is Ashley. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of your ministers. And I get to tell you some good news this morning. Yes, we have crossed the $1 million threshold in our annual pledge campaign, which means the next 500,000 is really no big deal. We can totally do that. It is within reach, absolutely. So I invite you to fill out your pledge form if you have not yet done so. You have 2 ways to do that right now. Over here, up here, and if you have a smart device, our beloved Rachel has just sent you an email with a link to do that too. If you have already done this, this is a great opportunity to reach out to another beloved in this community and just check on them and how their pledge form is going. I am completely serious. It's called community organizing. We organize people, power, and resources so that we can change the world. And you get to hear a little bit about how the world is changed by this community now. Come on up, Unique.
Good morning. My name is Unique Hakobo, she, her. I've been attending this church for about 2 years and a member for almost a year. I have lived in Minneapolis since April 2024. I moved here from my hometown, Lubbock, Texas. Until then, I had never lived anywhere else. My family and friends are there. I went to college and grad school there. I even started my career there. Then a job opportunity brought me here, and I was excited to move to a blue LGBTQ+ friendly state. When I moved, I didn't know a single person. I knew it would be lonely at first. I knew it would take time to build community. In fact, I was so prepared, I found 3 ways to find my community, and this church was one of them. A friend from home drove up with me to help me unpack and settle in. And it was not until I dropped her off at the airport that I suddenly realized that there was no one here that loved me. No one here that knew I existed. No one that sees me. And that was a feeling I wasn't prepared for. About 2 weeks later, I finally made it here to church. And the very first time I came, I knew I wasn't leaving. I knew this church was for me. But even then, I still had not felt part of the community. It takes time. Then a few weeks later, we did an exercise during service where we had to look into someone's eye for 1 minute. I was like, oh no. But as I turned to the person next to me and we stared into each other's eyes, for the first time since moving here, someone knew my name, someone knew I existed, and I remember thinking, okay, I can be loved here. That is why this community gives me hope, because I know that when someone walks through those doors, we will see them, remember them, and care for them. I experienced that again when I joined the early adult group, formerly young adults. I was instantly welcomed. And now Matt, CT, Raylan, Amelia, Cameron, Maria, Zoe, Claire, and Corey have become my family away from home. I'm also a federal employee, so when the administration took office and started firing us, I was worried about losing my job. But I also knew if something were to happen, I could fall back on the church for help. Knowing that the Minister Emergency Fund was available gave me so much peace. It gave me hope that it would be okay, and it was. I'm still employed. Then when the government shut down and I missed paychecks, I knew again that I could rely on the church if I needed it. Then when Operation Metro Surge began and I saw this community show up in powerful ways for our neighbors through trainings, organizing, and spiritual support. Our shared giving is what makes all of this possible. When I imagine what a 1 million increase in giving could do, I imagine our church at community events welcoming new people into the space. I imagine a bigger kitchen so we could provide hot meals for the public and host more community events, community dinners. I imagine more meeting spaces for community groups who can gather, train, and share resources. I imagine a green roof for the community garden Maria talked about. I imagine block parties, because I love a good party. So this year, I am pledging for the first time, not just at this church, but for the first time in my adult life, because I have seen what shared giving can do. Giving isn't just about keeping the lights on. It's also about making sure the next person who walks through our doors feels seen the way I did. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to turn to the person next to you, share your name and pronouns, and look into their eyes for 1 minute. And just sit with them, try not to think about anything else, and just see them. Because a simple act, being seen, can change everything. All right, turn to someone around you. One minute starts now.
Oh, don't worry.
Okay, it's over. Early Adults is doing lunch at Pizza Luce after service, so meet us downstairs. And if it's too short notice, we're also doing speed bingo on Saturday. So text me, my number's in the calendar for more details. Thank you.
Thank you, Unique. Does everyone have somebody in their head they're going to reach out to this week and check on their pledging? This is not a test. Our deadline is next Sunday. And, you know, this is not transactional. This is looking into the people who have held you up, held your hand, been the people who've seen you, inviting them to remember that this is the container that helps you to have that experience with them. Speaking of making a container that holds each other up, our community offering this week goes to Mental Health Connect, a collaborative of faith communities working together to help destigmatize mental illness and to make sure all people can find free, customized, and confidential help we need. This is a longtime partner of ours, and we invite you to give boldly. And if this is a week when you need to practice the oftentimes harder spiritual muscle of asking for help, of asking for support from the Minister's Emergency Fund Unique just talked about, please take the risk of faith to do so. Reach out to Laura or I after the service, send an email. We are here to hold this time with you. Let us give, receive, and grow for our morning offering this morning.
Clean and bright, you look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow forever. Bless my homeland forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me.
Thank you, Paolo, for conjuring Christopher Plummer for me. And that scene when he rips the Nazi flag. Yeah. We'll just channel that. Also, some words for you, beloveds, from one of our psalmists around here, Andrea Gibson, who lived with depression and anxiety for much of their life. Instead of depression, try calling it hibernation. Imagine the darkness as a cave in which you will be nurtured by doing absolutely nothing. Hibernating animals don't even dream. It's okay if you can't imagine spring. Sleep through the alarm of the world Name your hopelessness a quiet hollow, a place you go to heal, a den you dug instead of a grave. Let us settle into hopelessness, into a quiet hollow we hold together to carry the ache and also the joy of our beings. This week, we are carrying in particular our trans beloved siblings in South Dakota as they watch yet another ruling that causes harm and denies their creation in the image of love. We hold those spending too much time in bomb shelters and bathrooms as bombs fall in the Middle East. We hold our immigrant beloveds living and loving in the fear of ongoing ICE presence. We send love and prayers to Karen Willie as she recovers from a recent fall that broke her hip, and surgery this week for a hip replacement. What do you hold in the hollow of your own being? What needs the tenderness of care from beloved community? As we sit in silence now for just a moment, hold all of your being in our collective care, in your own arms. Offer yourself gentleness. Name your hopelessness a quiet hollow, a place you go to heal, a den you dug, sweetheart, instead of a grave. Let us sing the spirit of our prayers now as we sing Spirit of Life together.
It's always an honor to share worship with congregants. I served a small church before, and we relied mightily on shared ministry with congregants. Hearing different voices and experiences helps widen the stories we tell and opens the door to the possibility of hearing something that strikes a chord in your heart. So I feel honored to have been able to pull this service together today, Mental Health Sunday, because so many beloveds in the congregations I have served and in this congregation have been seriously impacted by mental illness. NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, says that millions of people in the U.S. are affected by mental illness, and that it's important to measure how common mental illness is so that we understand the physical and social and financial impact, and so that we show that no one is alone. My prayer is that if there's any place in our world that we can create a safe space to be genuine about our mental illness, let it be here. We're so much more than any part of our identities, and yet parts of our identities can be central to our lives. This is true if you struggle with serious and persistent mental illness, or if you have a mental illness that has been treated with meds or through alternative methods and you maybe don't have to think about it all the time. My prayer is that we also can create a safe place for us to be genuine about the impact of greater societal ills, racism, transphobia, xenophobia, and more, that we can be a place where we don't minimize our differences, and we understand that there's a heavy impact because of these intersectionalities, and that we create an intentional community of love and belonging, even if we do it clumsily, with recognition of unintended harm and a commitment to repair. I've always lived with a lot of transparency. I think it's because I'm not a great liar, and that holding secrets when I was younger used to make my stomach ache in a way that I had to find another solution. So when I began to get real about addiction in my family and myself, I joined 12-step groups, and I talked about it in my life beyond those circles. When I began to experience situational depression, I talked about it. And when I realized it wasn't just situational anymore, I got medication for it, so I could once again return to a life where I could actually pick up the phone. That was challenging when I was not medicated, where I could find joy in my life and engage in meaningful relationships without feeling dead inside. And I spent years talking and crying my way through parenting a teen and young adult with serious mental illness, exacerbated by alcohol and drug use. I find it amazing that my colleagues even thought I had the ability to be a minister to others, given how many years I wept at virtually every gathering when we had a check-in. I know somebody's up there nodding. And we also managed to stay strong as parents, remaining safe people for him to come where he knew he was loved and protected. We were the people he could rage against when he was experiencing a mental health crisis and know he could return again and be loved. And we were the people he could turn to for resources. Both my own mild depression and my son's severe mental health challenges, they're no longer central in my life. Medication keeps me able to be in the world, although I had to increase those in 2016 and once again after this recent election of this fascist regime. And my son is now sober and working on his own mental health. Stunning. The change is nothing short of miraculous, and I know he is fortunate, and we are fortunate to be where we are. And when you've been through hell, and it is not something you ever forget. Perhaps that's one of the reasons I'm called to pastoral care. And I imagine that many of you have similar life experiences and recognize that your own pain has made you more compassionate and open to others who are vulnerable. Today we're going to hear from 3 congregants, and I am so grateful for their courage and willingness to share. After we hear their stories, we'll move into a ritual recognizing how mental health impacts us and honoring how important it is to not carry the weight of mental illness alone. We'll start with Sherry.
Hello, my name is Sherry Merriam. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm one of your worship associates. I'm also a supervised licensed counselor and psychotherapist, and I own a group practice in South Minneapolis. And if you think that sounds especially hard right now, you're right. Although for me, COVID was worse. In my experience as a worship associate, what has always resonated with y'all most is our honesty and vulnerability. And you have always repaid that with kindness and grace. So I'll give you the truth. The therapists are not okay, y'all. To my horror, I first realized this long ago, shortly after I started grad school, 18 years ago. First of all, none of us got into this work because we had easy childhoods. Excuse me. Then our system gives the toughest cases in the most need to the most inexperienced clinicians with the least skill, which is unkind to both parties. In my grad program, we were expected to do this work for free in a part-time internship before we'd even finished our training, while still going to school full-time and working full-time. I watched many classmates suffer and crack under the pressure in various ways. Some divorced, some relapsed into the addiction they'd brought with them, some just quit the program. I wondered what it would look like when I cracked. The pressure was so intense, the inevitability seemed guaranteed. And then I started having chronic migraines, which have since impacted my life and my career more than anything else. When the debilitating headaches showed up, just as I was starting my new profession, I thought, there it is. That's how I cracked. Because my stress lived in my body, where it often does. And honestly, in a way, I was relieved. Like I said, some of my classmates had it worse. So we held each other together as best as we could, with home-cooked meals, library nights, and trying to make a difference through shared leadership. It's a professional philosophy of collegiality under fire that I still believe in and practice today. I friggin' hate these migraines. Please don't ask me about them. I know you would do it to be compassionate or curious, but I really hate talking about them. They make me feel like a victim, a loser, a waste of a human, lying in bed, accomplishing nothing. Because of course, our mainstream culture and capitalism say that I am worthless, meaningless, unless I am accomplishing something. Because especially in a position I've worked decades to get to, with a vision to change the industry, and as a woman in leadership with white men with PhDs circling like vultures, ready to tear me down any chance they get. I guess that's depression or anxiety talking. I've got PTSD and fibromyalgia too, for other reasons, but we'll talk about that another day. And don't get me started about adding perimenopause during COVID, because mental health is in the body. Pain, anxiety, depression, trauma, it lives in my body. Maybe it lives in your body too. So I do all the things. I meditate, I exercise, I make art, I practice gratitude, I spend time with friends, I volunteer when I can, I overcommit, disappoint, especially myself, fail, fall down, and with a lot of help from you folks and others, get up again. And I mean it. A lot of help. This community has made me wiser, more grateful, more gracious, a better communicator, and has helped me grow into midlife and shed a lot of negative patterns and relationships. I learn more and more what grace is and how to practice radical hospitality, and sometimes even how to forgive my own failings. Sometimes. Please don't let my confession about struggling therapists discourage you from talking to a therapist. As you can imagine, my challenges have given me the compassion and empathy that my clients with physical and mental health problems value. And I love my work so very much. It's a calling, and it gives me so much satisfaction and joy and meaning. Most of us find our work incredibly rewarding, even when it's challenging, and sometimes even more so when it is. And we therapists do take care of ourselves and each other constantly, holding each other to a very high professional standard of well-being. And we are here to help you. I'm hearing a lot of clients right now describe a very specific kind of exhaustion, the high-functioning trap. They've mastered the art of looking like we have it all together, but they're finding that their internal fundamentals are starting to crack under the weight of always being the one that everyone depends on. Sound familiar? We often wait for one big enough trauma to justify our distress, but what I'm seeing most right now is the cumulative crunch. It's the one person navigating a medical diagnosis while still processing a recent grief, while also trying to manage the finances of a parent or the health of a spouse or a child. It's the realization that you have run out of emotional buffer. A lot of people are telling me that they feel fine or they know what to do intellectually, but their bodies are handling them a different receipt. I hear about the physical inability to relax, the tense muscles, the disrupted sleep, the persistent pain. It's a sign that our nervous systems are stuck in a fight or flight loop. People are looking for a way to live better in their heads because their bodies have simply forgotten how to chill out in a world that never stops asking for more. So if you're feeling distressed like this, you are not alone. We are all holding it together. And as Reverend Ashley has taught us to add, sometimes barely. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Keith Washington, and my pronouns are he, him. I've been a member of First Universalist Church for over 8 years. I got affiliated with the church through Gary Merriam, He used to be my case manager through Vail Communities. When he worked there, it was called Vail Place. I participate in many activities at the church, like Sunday worship, the BIPOC group. Sometimes I might do Qigong, the Labyrinth Walk, and I'm on the library committee. I really like doing things or different activities at the church, and it gives me a sense of purpose. I finally decided to come to a community dinner, which was my first one, and the food was good, and the breakout group, which I attended, was the BIPOC group. It was very interesting. I might try to do another community dinner because the first one was fun. I have a mental condition. My diagnosis is schizophrenia. I was diagnosed with this illness at the age of 39. It was hard, very hard for me, and it affected me like no other thing could affect someone. But with help like medications, doctors, therapists, and community support groups, I have overcome the stigma of the disease. It is a lot of other people out there. It is a lot of other people out there who suffer with some sort of mental illness, but my recommendation to them is not to give up on their lives and to do things that keep them occupied and let other people who care about them show them support and love for them. As far as me, I get a lot of help from my family members that keep me motivated to live a good spiritual life. I also go to community programs that help me stay active in the community, like Vail Communities. This is a place where you feel welcomed and accepted and can learn from other people who have mental challenges, and you can also grow into the person that you want to become. With support from staff and members, you can achieve your goals you set for yourself. And in closing, I hope and wish others that have mental conditions will let God and themselves help them overcome the negative emotions and stick with the positive ones. Thank you.
That's my art up there. It was up here in 2023. My name is Martha Bird, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm an artist, and I create. I'm a board-certified holistic RN, and I heal. That's my orientation. And I live with a mental illness. And every day I experience what I call inner angst. These are all connected and integral to what makes me who I am. I'm also a Make It Okay ambassador. It was a program that was started at Health Partners and now has gone national. We commit to talking openly about mental health to try to make it okay for other people to talk about that. I'm also a member of Vail Communities, and Keith and I did not coordinate our talks when I'm talking about this. It's right around the corner, just a few blocks from here, and they accept me any way that I show up on any given day. They help me with my goals. Right now, last Thursday, I was talking with someone about Adobe InDesign to see if it would meet the project I had to do. Tomorrow I'm going to go there because I'm laminating a sign for my art studio. This week I'm going to go, they have daily meals that are healthy meals that are home cooked. Cost $2. And this last week when I was there, I went up to somebody and said, I am so craving something sweet. The meals are very healthy. So the staff said, well, we have this Chex Mix here and we baked it with some brown sugar. That might do it. We also got a donation of some really expensive hot chocolate. That might do it. They took a group to the Arboretum to hear my artist talk a week ago. And then I recently got an arts grant and I'll be teaching a basketry class. I could go on. So I am living my best life right now. And it requires a lot of support. And it's support that most people don't even know that's available. My story is that I spent many years hiding, trying to hide the fact that I struggled as much as I did. The first step for me was acknowledging what was true and identifying what was happening. It was very hard. It's humbling. Have to deal with shame. And then I worked really hard to set up services, seek out resources, medication, therapy, community support programs, Vail communities. I have an arms worker, which is a mental health worker that will come and work one-on-one with me in my home. Not too long ago was approved for Caddy Waiver, which is a funding source to help provide more supports to me to help me stay integrated in the community. So after that phase, which is ongoing, then comes the hope, and then comes the fun. And there's visioning and dreaming about what I want in my life. There's setting goals, there's joining in, feeling supported, feeling a sense of belonging. So this mental health service is really important to me. We started it back in 2017, and I had advocated for years for that. I met quarterly with Justin, the minister we had at that time, just to talk about how life was going and what was going on. And I would say to him regularly, you know, I'm not the only one. I'm talking to you about this, but I'm not the only one. And then we had a death in our congregation of one of our leaders. Many of you may remember her, Pam Vincent. It was unexpected. It involved alcohol and mental health. And nobody knew that she was struggling, not even her best friend. There was shock, and I said to Justin, I said, now's the time. We need to talk about this. It's really, really important to me. We don't want to lose anyone else, and it could be me too. We don't want to lose anybody. And so we started having this service. This service means so much to me. It helps me feel seen, that I'm okay just the way I am. I'm not the only one. We have things in common that are very real. And even if we don't have that in common, there's real heart here. And I feel safe. It's the destigmatizing mental illness is really important work for our congregation to do, because you are all lovable, and I am lovable, and you are lovable with what you bring, and I'm lovable with what I bring. Then we can all be our best selves, and we can share our gifts, and the ones that are uniquely our own, and then we can contribute to community and build.
Thank you to all three of you. We're going to open up and start our ritual. What we'll be doing is we'll be describing certain groups of people who've been impacted in sort of concentric circles around your identity in relation to mental health. And when you hear something that fits you, if you'll come up one of these two aisles, there'll be people who will hand you candles there and there. Light a candle. I'm going to ask that you light the candle and put it to this side of the sand so that people don't have to reach over a burning candle to place theirs in the sand. We will be singing while people line up, so feel free to sing along. If you're online, Rev Jen got called out, but if you want to write when the time comes up where you would be getting in line, a candle is lit, then others who are on Zoom will know you are kind of joining that line. Once we light a small candle from the large candle in both of these, we'll just light our candles from that, so you don't have to go back to the mothership there. As in other rituals, I want you to know this is an invitation. And so you can choose to participate or you can choose to stay in the pews. Just do what feels most comfortable to you. So I'm going to invite Martha up to start with the first category.
So the first category we're going to start with, it's one that I belong to. It's called serious and persistent mental illness. It's actually defined in our Minnesota statutes, and it gives you access to some services. So when I talk about this group, when we go through the concentric circles, just come to the first one that applies to you, because there might be several of them that apply to you, so you can just come to the first one. So SPMI, serious and persistent mental illness, there's the definition of it, there's certain criteria that you meet, and so I'll just go through them so you know there's such a thing, and you can see where you fit in here. One of them is that you have a diagnosis of schizophrenia, bipolar, major depression, or borderline personality disorder, and that diagnosis impacts the functioning of your life, and that there's a mental health professional that would kind of corroborate that and say that if you didn't receive services that you'd have repeat episodes. And then there's some other ones that have to do with different timelines, like 2 or more psychiatric hospitalizations, maybe one that lasts more than 6 months. If you've been treated by a crisis team 2 or more times within a certain period of time, if you've been committed by a court, and then if you have a history of any of those. And so for me, that was hospitalizations, for feeling despair and wanting to end my life, diagnosis of major depression, not being able to get out of bed and do the things I needed to, and a therapist saying, this is a problem. So it doesn't have to be super heavy. I was at my art studio last Friday, and I was talking with someone there, and the conversation turned to mental health, and she said, are you SPMI? And I'm like, yep, and we high-fived, and it's like, okay, we just kind of knew what we came with. So the other category I want to put in this group is that it's for those of the people that actually might meet those criteria had you had the trust or the courage or the chance to be honest with someone and tell them what was really going on in your life. So please join me in honoring ourselves and the work we put into living our life by lighting a candle.
Sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter where you go, no matter where you've been, you'll never walk alone. I feel you deep within. Sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you.
If you're someone who has a family member or a chosen family member with serious and persistent mental illness, or you've lost someone in those categories, to serious and persistent mental illness, please come forward.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter what you feel or what you choose to show, I'm always there for you. So I want you to know that I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I walk the path with you. Go slow, dear one, don't hurry. I'll go just like you go. There's no need to worry. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
I realize you may fit numerous categories, but if you haven't come up yet, and you are a person with a mental illness diagnosis that impacts your life, but it's not what you would call serious or persistent, that you're able to manage it with meds or with alternative therapies, please come forward.
sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
And if you're someone who knows someone through friendship, church, work, or another connection, or if you're someone who serves people with mental illness and you haven't come up yet, please do.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to hold you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in
Making that which is not visible, visible. Shining light on mental health and the way that it touches us all, from the very young until our last breath. As I wrote about today's service in the Liberal, I shared an opening reading by Rebecca Edmondson. It starts with, "Come in. Come into this place which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxiety, loves and hopes, for here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be." Just take a moment and reflect on all the people who came forward. Take a breath and take in the light generated by these candles of truth and connection. We truly are not alone. We really are holding it together. Here, the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, and compassion is expected. Together, we make this a holy place. Shall we sing?
Shall we gather at the river, where bright angels feed and draw, with its crystal tide forever flowing by
gratitude for all the times we gather with open hearts and minds and spirits seeking connection, even when we are so tender that it takes courage to show up. Know that being truthful about how mental health impacts your life and the lives of those you love to one another is a gift to share. Break the silence that stigma has created, the silence that separates us from one another. Know that there's power in naming and claiming your story, even if it's hard, especially if it's hard. Go forth recognizing the beauty, vulnerability and courage present in the human spirit to see each other as whole and holy and worthy and welcomed and wanted, always with room to grow. May it be so, and amen.